Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We have a returning guest with us, Don Handston. He is the author of The 30-Day Contract, the unconventional way to have fun, get laid, build your confidence, and stay in control. Don, I want to welcome you to the show.
Good morning. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thanks to have you back. I always enjoy our conversations. It goes down a most unconventional pathway, but I think our listeners, especially the men out there, are really enjoying what they're learning from these interviews. So thanks for spending the time.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, let's just jump right into it. I know our audience is super excited. Today, we're going to talk about Chapter 2 of your book, The Power of the Pussy. Now, that's a pretty strong name of a chapter, name of anything. It has a lot of connotations to it. Tell us a little bit about why you named the chapter this and really the psychology behind it all.
Okay, well, the bottom line is to the power of the pussy is that's a way that women typically control men. And I don't know if we talked about this in previous conversations or not, but the power of the pussy is a button that many women can turn on and off, the turbocharged, supercharged button, and they do things that they didn't even know that they were capable of doing in efforts to create what they want in a relationship or get what they want from a man. And once you can kind of figure that out, it's a pretty simple thing that's been going on like since Adam and Eve. Once you figure that out, and you're able to supersede that power, put that power in your hands, and basically don't let that affect you and change your way of thinking. If you want the cards in your hand, the bottom line is you cannot be controlled by other people and things that they're capable of doing to you or for you that help you make decisions that go against the way of your thinking pattern. So the power of the pussy is basically a woman will do and say and act like she needs to in order to achieve what she's trying to achieve. But if you don't necessarily care, if a woman comes on to you and says, oh, you know, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, or she just goes right to the act, that's fine, okay? But you have to know a lot of times that's used in your disadvantage, and that's used to get what she wants, not what you want. And so that's been the common tale for folks throughout the ages. And if you can turn a blind eye to it and say, you know, it doesn't really matter. If you're coming on to her and you're in a 30-day contract and she's like, oh, I'm tired, or oh, I have a headache, or some kind of bullshit, whatever the reason is, if they don't want to have sex, that's fine. If you're cool with it, that's fine. And basically what you do is you strip that power away. You don't really give a shit if she turns on the pussy and the supercharger to the pussy. It doesn't make a difference to you. It's not going to change anything if you're cool with that. If you're not cool with it, then you know what? Get rid of her and work on a different 30-day contract, because the bottom line is if you're controlled by a woman, the 30-day contract is not going to work for you because you're going against all the rules that are provided in the outline that we're going to put out for you.
I hear you. You know, and some people say that, you know, oh, come on, do women really do this? Do they really play these games? And it's interesting. There's a book out there written for women, and I'm just going to read you a little quote on this, which exemplifies what you just shared. It says, being a girl is an absolute blessing. When a woman realizes what she has in between her legs gives her great power, she can get whatever she wants. Once you know how to work what you've got, life becomes easier. Suddenly you have the control. You can get anything you want from men once you learn how to use your pussy to your advantage. I mean, this is a quote out of a book written for women. Women who realize their vagina is valuable will always have the upper hand. She goes on and talks about it being pussy being a commodity. And what is it that what is it you really want from men that you've been unable to get? Is it commitment, honesty, gifts, dates, marriage, respect, money? I mean, that's just manipulation. And What I love about this book that we've had these conversations is that this is not about manipulation. This is about leveling the playing field and having total transparency, no game playing. This is what it is. Take it or leave it.
And that's interesting that you read that, because it's exactly how I feel a lot of women are. And it's also interesting how they commoditize the things that they possess. They're pussy, okay? So, if it's a commodity, you're using it for what you can get. Usually it's not going to get them what they're trying to get. So quit using your body as a commodity and just be straightforward with people and just be straight up. Say what you're looking for. Say what you need. Say what you like. Say what you don't like. And enter yourself into a 30-day contract with somebody on that premise, and you're going to find out that you're going to be happy. A lot of these women that are commoditizing their bodies to get what they want, you see how that goes, where they work the guy into a marriage, and, they have kids or they buy property, and next thing you know, they're single, right? And it's like, where did you really get yourself other than a really bad road down your life? I mean, wouldn't you rather put together some good memories, some fun times? Like, be straightforward, be honest. Doesn't it make you feel better to actually be honest and not use your body as a tool to get what you want? Rather, your honesty or you being candid gets you what you want. I mean, to me, that's fulfilling. If you can tell the truth, tell people what you're looking for, and receive it, that's a paradigm. But if you use what you have as a tool to get what you want, and you usually wind up not with exactly what you want, what's the point? What's the benefit? Unfortunately, a lot of people put a lot of those relationships and connections together that are their life. And when you look back at your life, you say, okay, what were some of the key points? What were the key memories? What were the elements to relive? And it's going to be all the good stuff, not stuff that you worked hard using yourself as an asset and maybe being deceitful to get. I mean, it's not fulfilling. And a lot of people say that's bullshit. It is fulfilling, but it's not. If you can be honest and tell people what you want and be completely open and get what you want, there is not a better feeling in the world than that.
Absolutely. Wouldn't you rather have something real and have an exchange between, because let's face it, we get into a relationship because there are things that we want out of life that we can't just necessarily do just by ourselves. We want connection. We want romance. We want sex. We want intimacy. We want, companionship. We want a partner to go on adventures with. So why not start from the get-go being totally transparent and honest instead of playing games? And that's what I love about this book. I mean, I think a lot of women might look at the cover and say, "Oh my God, this is just no, okay, they're playing games with us." But when you really read it and understand it, it's not playing games at all. Unlike this other book that I was quoting from, that is just teaching women how to manipulate using parts of their body, which is ridiculous. Because let's face it, women want sex as much as men do. That fallacy that they don't is bullshit. Now, maybe during different times of the month or different eras of their life, they got a lot of changes and things going on. I get that. But I'm talking about on an overall basis, would you agree that women want sex as much as men?
Yeah, Marcus, I would agree with you that women, they don't just want sex as much as men. They want sex more than men. It's a fallacy. It's that men want it more than women. Women do. They just hide it. And they hide it pretty well. And the women that you think are super sexual are the ones that dress and talk like they are. And they're usually not. They're usually not the women that you want anyways. It's the women that mask it. Those are the women that typically are more sexual. They don't want everybody to know about it. And they are their own person, and their sexuality is their own privacy. And those are really the types of women that you probably want in your life. I mean, a lot of guys like the skanky, slutty chicks. And hey, I'm not going to lie, I do too. But any type of relationship, any type of trust, any type of honesty, you're not going to get out of that type of woman. So,
right.
If you meet a woman that you like and you're into her and you think she's hot, I mean, you got to go by what you want, what you're looking for. But honestly, I think by you being honest, you're going to attract honest people. And by attracting honest people, you're going to be attracting good people. When you attract good people, it's going to be a good connection. And probably it's got the potential of being a very good connection, because if they're open and honest with you, even if they got it hidden that they're super sexual, or maybe that they haven't been sexual, but they want to be sexual, or whatever their deal is, they're probably going to open up to you. And you're probably going to have a great time. And they're going to be happy that they're talking to somebody that's actually honest to them. Because most people are not honest. I'm not going to say men or women. Most people are not honest in this day and age. Most people are not transparent. Most people will not tell you what they want. There's hidden agendas. There's so much alteration of what people really want. And it's unfortunate. I kind of miss the days where people were just more them. Like it or lump it, this is who I am. Because at least back then, whether it wasn't something that you agreed with or not, they were honest. And it was an open book. And you didn't have to play all the guessing games. And at the end of the day, do we got time? Do we want? I don't want to play guessing games, and I don't really have time for that, Yeah. And
who does?
So you kind of, you pull a couple of layers off the onion, and here's the onion, and this is what it's going to look like, it smell like, it tastes like. Perfect. You know what I mean? I would prefer that. So you're going to find that you're going to put out what you're looking for, and you're going to attract that. You're going to attract that type of person. And through that honesty, through that being extremely candid personality that you'll have, if you go through with the 30-day contract, the other thing is you're going to get a lot of people that are going to, they're going to, you're an asshole, or you take advantage of women, or you're a scum, or whatever they think. Those are not the women that you want in your wheelhouse anyway. So perfect. I found out that the only way that you figure out what you want is by figuring out what you don't want. And there's a lot more stuff out there that you don't want than you do want. So it's real easy once you figure out how to pre-qualify. And when you pre-qualify, it's no different than pre-qualifying a client if you're in business, or pre-qualifying somebody to employ you to work for you. A pre-qualification process, basically, it saves you time. And it saves you a lot of headaches, So once you start doing some 30-day contracts, you'll start figuring out what it is that you're looking for by realizing what it is that you're not looking for. So it's pretty interesting stuff.
Absolutely. I think it even goes down to a deeper root. You're talking about, in business and just people in general not being honest. And I think it comes down to this competitive nature we have in our world. It's like, for me to win, you have to lose. Or for me to win, I have to manipulate the situation. Or instead of looking at things as a win-win. Because if you're honest and you're open and you're willing to share of your body, your mind, your soul, your resources, everything, and it goes both ways, it's going to be a win-win for everywhere, where nobody has to play games. So I think it really comes down to a societal issue as much as it is a man-woman issue. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And it's like in my other book where I talked about business, okay? And I talked about, in order to be a winner in business, you have to create everyone that's involved to be a winner. And so in a business book, it's three winners. It's the client, it's the company, and then it's the employee. But in a relationship, it's the two participants in a relationship. Those both need to be winners. And if they're not going to both be winners, it's not going to be successful in either way. So taking advantage of people is not the way. And when you first read the cover of the book, you're going to say, oh, this is slimy, or this guy's full of shit, or whatever you're going to say. But realistically, it's going to be the most real thing that people are going to read, because it's going to be about win-win situations. It's going to be, hopefully, about really good moments that you create in your life and your partner's life. It's going to hopefully be that there is an actual agenda. There's a start and there's an end to the relationship. Hopefully on that agenda, there's also going to be what you're looking to do, what things you want to talk about, what things you want to achieve, whatever it may be. It's going to be hard for a lot of people to be involved in these, because it's hard for people to be honest. So you're going to be dealing with people that are not going to be completely honest. And then you're going to meet a woman and you're going to finish up the relationship, and she didn't think it was going to finish because she didn't think you'd had the balls to put the expiration date to use. And she's going to be wishing that she told you that, she loves to, have sex in a Taiwan basket, or who the fuck knows what she's going to want to do. But she's going to regret the fact that she wasn't honest with some of the things that she really wanted to achieve or do. I mean, that's the downside of society, is people they're pinned against, how we should think, how we can't be honest, how we should be ashamed. They're pinned with societal issues, where I think in a 30-day contract, the thing is it's about getting rid of all of those and just opening up and just enjoying your life and not using yourself, getting back to the power of the pussy, not using yourself as a commodity to create any type of deceit. And that kind of wraps up the power of the pussy as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I have a friend, leave him nameless here because just for anonymity's sake, we were having this conversation. He was telling me that he got out of this bad relationship and he started dating this really cool chick. It was one of those things where he's like, you know what, I'm just tired of all the bullshit. And so he's like, I'm just going to, I don't know if I even want to be in a relationship. I like this girl, she's fun, but, I'm just going to blow it up. I'm just going to tell him what I want, and I'm just going to blow it up. And he was talking about all kinds of what I would call unconventional things, whether it was sex positions, being a swinger, doing all this kind of stuff. And she's like, yeah, I'm into that. I'm cool. Yep. And you know what? They have an amazing relationship. They've been married for years, and they still are open and honest, transparent, loving life, loving each other, and having a great time and raising their family while they're doing it. And I mean, there's so much to be said for being transparent, honest, because that honesty truly, I think, is what removes the power from the pussy and allows them, the men and women, to have a level playing field in a relationship, whether it's just for 30 days, whether it's just a weekend romance or beyond. So that's fantastic.
Absolutely. I agree with that. So he had probably some poor relationships, whether it was just a poor partner or they weren't able to be open with each other. I mean, I've been in relationships where if you were honest, it would just create a fight. So you don't. So you go along with par for the course type of shit.
Right.
Then you wind up being really unhappy. And sometimes you're like, you know what? Fuck it. This is what I'm going to do. If they don't like it, I don't really care. And those wind up being the most successful relationships,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that there are people out in the world that think they have to do this, manipulation thing and to get what they want. Whereas if you make it a win-win situation and you're open and honest from the get-go, it works out so much better and everyone's happier. And you can part after 30 days and still be friends. And who knows, maybe you'll circle the wagons after 6 months or a year and realize that now that you've had a taste of figuring out what you don't want and what you do want, maybe that one person was the right one, and you can circle back. And because of that honesty and being able to honor the 30-day contract you had before, you probably have more of a chance to circle back to that person and say, you know what, I really digged what we did. I really liked our connection, and well, let's do it again, and let's see where it might go, kind of thing. So I think there's a lot of power to that. So I'm really glad you had the courage, audacity, talk about the power of the pussy, because it is so kind of like a underlying thing that most people know about, or they believe, or they think about, but yet no one's willing to talk about it. So I'm glad we're having that discussion here today.
And what's interesting about that is you can equate the power of the pussy to the power of anything that somebody possesses that gives them power over another person. A lot of relationships, it's money, right? People hold money over the other person's head, and that's what gives them the power. It could be looks, it could be the pussy, it could be their relationships, it could be anything. Instead of including and making that part of people's lives and enjoying them with them, they use it as leverage against man with money. Uses it as a lot of times uses it as leverage against these women. Okay, and so it's really no different than any other thing that somebody has that they possess. That's a very powerful thing. sex, for some reason, outweighs pretty much any other thing. I mean, sex, and for some reason, I don't know why, the power to pussy, I mean, it's kind of exceeds the power to cock, okay? The power to cock is great, but at the end of the day, who wants to use it as a tool? It's there to have fun, man. It's not there to control people. And
Correct.
anytime you're trying to control people, you're creating an environment that you don't want to be in and that person doesn't want to be in. It just gives you a sense of power. In my world, that's weakness. If you have to feel a sense of power, then you're a weak person. You're just looking for a reason to be put on top. And I don't value that in people. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, the toughest guys I played hockey with, those guys that give you the shirt off their back, the kindest people, they're not out there trying to control people by beating them down. They're the kindest people around. So if you got something working beneath your shorts, your pussy really works that well and you know how to do it, hey, man, share that and enhance your relationship. Don't use it as a leverage,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, that weakness of needing that power over people. I mean, I think it comes in a lot of different flavors. I mean, it could be fear, or it could be their insecurities, it could be just having a faulty belief system about how things work. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. The reason why it manifests as that need to control people. And you're right. I also believe it's a weakness. It doesn't have to be that way. We live in a very abundant world and an abundant universe, and there's enough for everybody to go around. Right. Humbleness, humility. See, you treat people right, they're going to treat you right. You know what I mean? Stay away from the people that don't treat you right, and that's the end of it. I mean, keep it simple. But, the 30-day contract, try to get yourself involved with people that you want to be around and create some good relationships, And absolutely.
It's kind of funny because when I first was thinking about writing this book, even I thought about it more on a skanky level. But the more thought that I put into it when I was thinking about writing it, the more I was thinking this is really about betterment in life. This isn't about taking advantage of anyone. It's about everybody just enjoying themselves and you trying to create enjoyment for others. And when you do that, life is going to be a winning thing for you when you create wins for the people that you're around or people that you spend time with. And whether it's on a 30-day deal or it's a lifetime deal, if you create a win situation for the people that you're around, your life is going to be a win. Agreed. Let's go one step further beyond the 30-day contract and talk about how this almost could be I'm going to use the word networking for lack of a better term, because I have a feeling that some of these women, and again, you correct me if I'm wrong, I know you've spoken to a lot of different individuals, women, men alike, that women like to talk to their girlfriends. And do you think that they would be telling their girlfriends about this 30-day contract that they've got with this guy and what's going on and, how much fun they're having or, whatever it might be? Do you think they would be telling their friends? And if so, what do you think that might transpire into? Okay, that's a very interesting question because I have the answer for that one. People talk about their lives to others, okay? Whether it's in the level of boasting or just telling people something that normally doesn't happen or something that's shocking or something that's different. And so guaranteed, if a woman gets herself involved in a 30-day contract with you, her friends are going to know about it right away. Okay, you believe this guy, or I'll show him, or whatever their deal is, and their friends are going to know every single day what's going on, what's happening, what'd you do, and as time goes on, and this guy says he's only going to keep me around for 30 days, he's going to kick me to the curb or whatever, and blah 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 blah, and she's talking, it's incredible, I told him this and that, we had this incredible sex, or we spent the weekend in Mexico and we saw some awesome sunsets with some margarita, whatever, and they're telling their friends, and their friends are like, we're not doing that stuff in our lives. What the fuck, we're in a stale relationship, or we don't have a relationship, or saving myself for marriage or whatever the fucking deal is, right? And so they're listening to this thing play by play, right? And this girl's like having a good time. She's having great sex. She's, hey, this guy's pretty cool. I sure hope this doesn't go, that doesn't end after 30 days, blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on. And on the 30th day, it's over. It's done. And she can't blame you because you're up front. She's going to be disappointed probably. But her friends are going to know about that. And they're going to be like, wow, I would like to have some of that in my life. You know what I mean? I don't know. Right. I've never even seen this guy. Or maybe I've seen a picture of him, or maybe I haven't. But all the shit that I've heard of him, they're going to be looking to get in touch with you. So if you have a successful 30-day contract with a woman, I would guarantee, I would bet $1 million, at least one of her friends is going to be wanting to get together for a 30-day contract with you, or I'll show him, or I'll change him, or she's going to want to outdo her girlfriend and show her that even if she's not interested in you, she's going to show her girlfriend that she's the one that's going to change you. Okay? Right. Because at the end of the day, they all want to show each other up. Men, women, everybody. They want to show people up. Oh, I'll show her, and then one of her friends. And so absolutely, does it turn into like a networking thing? If you're doing it for the right reasons, it will. If you're doing it for the wrong reasons and you're just trying to manipulate women, no, it's probably not going to work out as well as you think. But if you do it for the right reasons and you just try to create good times for yourself and your partner, I guarantee that their friends are going to be wanting to get together with you. So that is a very interesting point that you just brought up, because as a matter of fact, years ago I did it and spent about half of my time in Wisconsin and half of my time in Illinois. And I met a girl through a buddy of mine's girlfriend, and we got together. I did the same thing with her girlfriend, and I did the same thing with her other girlfriend. Or not with her other girlfriend, the other girl's girlfriend. So it wound up being 3 contracts out of 1. And what was funny about that was each time I was in a new relationship, it was like an upgrade. It was really fucking funny. It was like going from a Volkswagen to a Ford to a Mercedes-Benz. So what had happened was my confidence with women and the 30-day contract went up after each one of these. So, the girls weren't really that different where I compared them to cars, but it was to the point where I felt like each time I moved up a notch, and I felt like it was really part of my confidence, right? And whether it was my confidence or the confidence that I exuded. And so getting back to one of the chapters that we had talked about, it's about confidence. That's what people like. People think it's all about the beauty, or it's all about the money, or it's all about yeah, that's the initial attractiveness, but really if you have confidence, that's going to supersede all of that stuff by far. And you could have relationships that are way beyond what people would think are in your reach just by possessing confidence.
Yeah, I think confidence is huge. And, maybe having the money or the looks adds to the confidence. It's interesting. I know from a previous conversation, we were talking, and I was kind of taken back. I always thought the prettiest girl in school could have whatever she wanted to because she, had it all. But a lot of times when you have those assets, and maybe it comes easily, you don't have as much confidence, and you do have some insecurities about that. Would you agree with that?
1,000%. I remember when I was a younger guy, better looking than I am now. I was trim. I'm still in good shape, but I was trim. I possessed a lot of those good qualities, and I tell you, I was the most insecure. And the women that I had were, they were okay. But I tell you what, had I had those, it doesn't matter. I don't even care. I don't look back and never look back in time. I like where I'm at now in life. The thing is that without confidence, none of that meant the hill of beans, because basically you're like, it's kind of like people like the name brand shit, like younger people, the name brand shit. I'm going to wear this and I'm going to wear that and I'm going to get the guy or I'm going to get the girl and blah, blah, blah. Who gives a shit? It's a piece of clothing or jewelry or fucking hairdo or something that you got that anybody else could fucking get. Who cares? But how many people actually possess confidence, actual fucking confidence, where they could tell you what they're thinking right now, whether it's good or bad, and be comfortable with it? Not a lot. So guess what? You have something that very few people have. And if you can figure out how to possess that, but the only way you can figure out how to possess that is by failing in life and by keep swinging the bat at the ball. Sooner or later, you're going to be a home run hitter. You know what I mean? You might be a strikeout king at the beginning, and you're going to suck, and it's going to beat you up. But the more you fail, the more you're going to succeed, because the more balls you swing that bat at, the more you're going to hit. Before you know it, you're going to be used to it, and it's just going to be secondary. And before you know it, you're going to be hitting them out of the park. And it's the same thing with relationships, 30-day contracts, whatever it may be. You have to be willing to fail. And so many people are not willing to fail, and that's why they will never succeed.
Right. I think I read somewhere like Babe Ruth had, well, I don't know if he still does, but he had the world record for the most home runs, but he also had the most strikeouts also. Which tells you right there. You know, I think Michael Jordan, the same thing, and missed most shots, but he also had the most. You know, you have to fail. You know, there's no way around it. And I think in our society, it starts in school. When you get a 95 on your test, they don't put a 95 on there with a nice big green Sharpie and stars and whatever. They put -5 and red and circle it, and focus on what you did wrong versus on what you did right. And I think if we just change our focus and focus on all the things all the successes we're having, not just in a relationship or a 30-day contract or in the bedroom or at the bar talking to a girl, it's about all aspects of your life.
Basically, what you just explained is having a positive attitude versus negative. It's kind of like, the glass half full, the glass half empty. And that's the problem why a lot of people have so many problems and so many roadblocks is they're focused on all the negative shit. I tell you what, if I focus on all the negative shit, I'd be a down guy, because I probably had more negative shit in my life than most people. But I don't. The negative shit is what gets you the positive shit. I'm okay with failing. I'm okay telling somebody I suck at something. I'm okay with sucking at it. If I don't like it, I won't do it. If I like it, I'm going to keep practicing until I'm good at it. But I do not focus on sucking. I focus on, what? If I suck and I really care about it, what do I need to do to get better? And then you focus on the little bitty things that you got better at, even though it may seem minuscule to others. And when you focus on the positive stuff, more positive stuff happens. If you focus on the negative stuff, more negative stuff happens. So it's like the book, The Secret. It's like paradigms. It's like a lot of things. You get what you ask for. You get what you focus on. And if you focus on, you don't want to be rejected, well, you can create that for yourself. You just don't put yourself out there. You never put yourself on a date. You never ask a girl for a 30-day contract. You never do anything. You never get rejected. But where did you go in life? Nowhere. Or you can be like, fuck it, I'm going to have a good time. You know what? Yeah, I'm just talking. Whether I sit in the corner and say, "Oh, did you see that chick over there?" or I go over there and talk to her, I'd rather talk to her, even if she says, "Dude, you're a nerd. Get away from me."
Right.
I'd be like, "Hey, That's cool."
Mentor told me earlier, you can't lose what you've never had, or you can't lose what you don't have.
Absolutely. So. It's so true. Like, you cannot. Yeah, that is so. 1,000% correct. If you don't possess it now and you don't possess it later, you know what I mean? You didn't lose anything. And that's
right,
how
exactly.
That's how these numbskulls think about it. And you know what I mean? Like, hey, give it a try, Give it a try. If it's something you want to do, if you're over there talking, "Oh, did you see this chick?" Why are you telling? That was always my line. Why are you telling me about it? Go tell her about it.
Right, exactly.
Go tell her about it. She's right there, Why are you telling me? It's really interesting. But I am excited about this book, Marcus. I can't wait to get this thing out there in people's hands.
Absolutely, I agree. And I appreciate you taking the time today to kind of elaborate about the 30-day contract and the power of the pussy and share some of your wisdom and experiences along the way. So I know that our listeners are truly enjoying all the different concepts that we're talking about, and just kind of turning relationships upside down, over and out. Just because if you keep doing the things the same way over and over again, you're going to get the same results. The only way to change it differently is you got to go about and do things differently. And the 30-day contract, I think, for most men is definitely a different way of going about it. So I appreciate you spending the time with us today, Don, and I look forward to having another conversation with you here in the near future.
Can't wait, Marcus. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Well, there you have it, folks, for this edition of the show. We will see you next time on The Inside Track.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.